about to go downtown.
Downtown, hey!
Downtown. You about to go downtown.
Hey guys, and welcome to another week's episode of Downtown World. Don't waste no time with negativity. And I am truly blessed to see another week, and I'm very excited to be bridging this gap. I feel like Montreal has always just been kind of right there, but I've never really dove into that part of the map. So I'm really excited to have this Taigenz with us tonight. I did it again. We have Taigenz with us tonight, and he is based in Montreal, repping for Montreal, Canada, and he provides us beautiful music with a mixture of different languages. And I'm not going to pretend to, is it Pidgin?
Yeah. Yeah, Pidgin, yeah.
Languages like Pidgin, Spanish, English. And, you know, I'm going to let you talk all about yourself tonight because it's all about you and giving you your flowers, King. So how are you? Welcome.
Thank you for welcoming me. I'm good. I'm blessed. I'm trying to make sure I recognize that I am in a privileged and healthy position in the world or whatever, considering everything outside. So I just try to make note of that every day and do the best I can with it, So that's where I'm at.
Facts. And I just wanted to compliment your hair. Shout out to your hair tonight.
Thank you. I literally just, I took it out of the cornrows just for this.
Wow, I feel so special because I know the look mans are going for when they have it in the braid up. It's time to take it out, so dreads are looking amazing. Now, a question that we ask everyone here at Downtown, don't waste no time with negativity, is what is the situation where you could say it was definitely negative, but somehow, some way, you found a way to rise above, you might have even surprised yourself, and you chose not to waste any time with negativity?
That's I don't know. Can I cuss? I don't know. I'm sorry.
Of course.
Oh, okay. I should. That's what I should have asked before we started. But anyways,
You're so great.
So to be honest, I guess I'll take you. Let's get into it. That was probably one of the darkest times, or the heaviest times in recent memory of my life is in 2018, January 2018. When I used to work I was in the service industry for a good while. I used to work as a server. And in January 2018, the restaurant I worked at, I got fired at that restaurant, and everything kind of like collapsed on everything because of this. Everything around my firing was just very fishy. It was very fishy, and it wasn't just me, it was a few other people. So it was very fishy. And we decided to challenge them on the grounds that they used to fire us, which was very unclear from jump. So that was my first time really challenging the system, and really there's no playbook around, and it was really that was my first time going viral, but not in the way I would like to go viral. This is CTV, this is CBC, this is Global, this is the French publications. All of that is now for that week that we went public with it, I'm in the spotlight. I know how to be in the spotlight when it comes to my art, but being in the spotlight for something so personal and something so direct to me, that is so far removed from what I tried to give the world, was a whole new playground for me. And I had to learn how to deal with that. It was tough because I had to deal with that for the next 2 years up until January of this year. Wow. Where it was really a back and forth with us, and lawyers got involved, and it was really a heavy period where this is the first time I'm dealing with something where it could really, really turn my life upside down if the chips fall in a way that is not that doesn't help me or the people or who I was involved with that was challenging the restaurant and the system. Luckily, it didn't end up that way. I was finally able to close the chapter earlier this year. But I learned a lot about myself in that time period. I'm still learning about myself now because I got so used to dealing with that in the back of my head as a mental weight that when we finally, realized that, we could move on from this, it was such a refreshing yet new feeling. I didn't know how to feel. It was just a weight that was completely lifted off, and I didn't know how to go about it. It was just this is weird. I'm so used to, living, but still having that little box, where it's like, yeah, I got this, whatever, I can go out, I can have, it's like, damn, okay, I still got to deal with this.
Yeah.
And now for the first time, it's not there, for the first time in a few years, and first time since 2018. So that's a good part of my life where I was just like, it was tough. While I was going through it, it was tough because, now we're talking about jobs, we're talking about finances, we're talking about, my life, a real direct shot to my life and how I'm trying to structure things. I'm still trying to build my career as an artist, as a creative, but when you have things like this that directly affect my output, creative wise, everything just shatters on each other. And I did not, there was times where I really felt like I was touching. I don't know. I haven't been seen. I do think I need to go see somebody at one point, but I do believe I was probably going to touch, a very dark place mentally, very dark. And luckily it didn't go that way. I was able to find something within myself to just be like, yo, like, you're here, you're dealing with it. Just maintain. Don't be mad at the world, because this is definitely a situation where I can easily develop jadedness and just be ungrateful and just have a very negative view to the world. And I'm happy that, whether it's me or higher power, I don't know, I just didn't fall into that zone. I was able to stay level-headed, even though it was very tough. And now that it's done, I'm really, I've been light on my feet ever since, and this is still new. It's still very new. Granted, there's outside now. There's the world is dealing with the world right now, but at least in the grand scheme of things, I still have my personal victory in this whole thing, and that's really helped me just like be light on my feet, have a pep in my step, and then that way when outside really opens back up, then I could really get to what I really want to get to at 300%. Like nothing. You're talking to somebody right now. You're talking how you see me now is how a lot of people is their first time seeing me like this, because some people only have met me after I started dealing with this situation, So now it's like, this is new. So it's I don't want to say it's a new Taigenz, but it's just like, okay, it's updated. Like you got through this, and now you have an extra layer of resilience in you that you didn't have before. Yeah. So now you can really, really, really drive and really get your drive up and go for the world for real, because you had your dose of the world dealing with you and you didn't fold. Exactly. So I can only push harder. So I hope that answers the question.
No, more than, thank you. And, that's literally what people mean, what the saying means when it's like taking your L's and turning it into lessons, or I was just having a conversation last week where it was just like, a lot of the times, we're nervous to go through these things, but these are the situations that help us to grow and level us up, hopefully, because that's what it should do, and force you to become a person that you can't even fathom or think of yourself at times.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And it comes out of situations, sorry to say, that we wish we never went through. We wouldn't wish it on anyone, but those are the things that helps to build our resilience and helps us to just be more understanding to each other and kind as humans.
Absolutely.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Yeah. It's a risky thing. It could go as we're looking at on the bright side of things. I learned it could easily go on the other side. Very, very, it's like a seesaw. It could really go one way or the other in the blink of an eye. So it's really important to just be vigilant about that and see if there's anything that, at the end of the day, there was a lot of things I couldn't control. And I was like, let me just control my outlook, my attitude, and the energy I put out. And then the chips will fall where they may. And then, I just tried to accept all potential realities that may come around, they may come about, and do the best I can with those, So I'm happy
let's scale it back. The name Taigenz, was that your birth name or is that a stage name?
All right. So Taigenz.
You don't have to give your government, but
that's okay. It's part of the story. If I don't give it, it's going to be a missing part of the story. So I have no problem giving my government. So Taigenz is my stage name. Okay. I've had it since high school. So how I got to Taigenz, I got to circle back, reverse engineering. Yeah. So Taigenz is the final product. However, how we got there was the stage name before that was Young 10. So Young 10 TEN. Now, literally 10, the number 10. But why did I get 10? It's because 10 is actually the initials of my name. So TE is my full name is Tamfu Terry Ngala.
Wow.
Most of my life, everybody calls me Terry. That's fine. Like a few select family members call me Tamfu, but on paper, Tamfu is my first name. A lot of people didn't even know that. People have known me 15, 20 years. They didn't even know that. You know, Terry, they thought, but everybody assumed Terry was my first name. Terry is actually my middle name. Yeah. But everybody who knows me from before Taigenz called me Terry. So I took the TE, and I put it with the N of my name, Ngala, Ngala. Okay. So that's how we got to 10. Now, so it was young 10 for a good while, I think, late elementary, early high school, whatever. I'm in Quebec, so there's no middle school.
Yeah.
So
I never knew that.
No, there's no middle school. So we go from elementary school straight to high school. High school is 5 years.
But is elementary school K to 12? Kindergarten to grade 8?
No, kindergarten to grade 7. No, grade 6, sorry. Kindergarten, then grade 1 to 6.
And then you guys just go straight into
high school? Grade 7 to grade 12 is high school.
I never knew that.
Yeah. 7, 8, 9, 10. No, sorry, it's grade 7 to grade 11. There's no grade 12. Grade 7 to grade 11.
Wow.
So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 5 years of high school. And then you have on average 2 years of CJEP. And that's where the catch-up happens between the middle school. So it's like our middle school is it's like middle college if you want, because before university, you go to CJEP.
Yeah.
So just like before high school, you go to middle school. So I guess it was just like, you know, so there's like a 1 year catch up or 1 or 2 year. So the average, or what they call pre-university programs, the average person takes 2 years in CJEP for pre-university programs, or you take career programs, which are 3 years. And then you can go to university if you want to, or you can go work in the field. When I was in CJEP, I had a 3-year program, mechanical engineering. So if I wanted to afterwards, I could work or, you know, go to university. So late elementary, early high school, I was young 10. However, I realized, I think I was in grade 7. And at this point, who was popping? Young Jeezy was popping. Young Jock was popping. Young, I don't know, man. You know, there was a wave of youngs at one point.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
There was a wave of youngs. Like, exactly. I think we're from the same era, so you know what I mean. There was a wave of youngs, and I was like, you know what, man? Like, it's just a click in my head. I'm like, yo, this is not gonna work. And at the time, like, no one is checking for niggas from up north, like Canada. At that time, it doesn't. All we had was shout out to Cardinal. All we had was, I think, from Montreal, there was a rapper named Bless. All we had was Socrates, you know, a few guys, you know,
Canada.
But it wasn't the glamour, it wasn't the league, you know, and if you want to put a basketball reference to it, it wasn't the NBA, you know, so no one's really checking for Canadian hip hop like that. So I'm like, if nobody's checking for Canadian hip hop already, why am I going to add young to it and just have people double turned off? You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, I removed. So I remember vividly being in my room. I think I was 14. Yeah, I was in grade 8 at this point. And I'm just like, instead of doing my homework, I'm figuring out the next stage name. And I'm like, yo, I literally on paper, I'm writing young 10. I'm dissecting. I'm like, young 10, nah. Okay, scrap the young. What can we do with 10? Because it's still my name in there, and I want to have my name in there in some way, shape, or form. And then I'm thinking, okay, I remember a good part of elementary school up until high school, me and a few of my childhood friends, we were speaking Pig-Latin. We had AIG in every syllable. So that's how I was like, okay, if I use Pig-Latin, okay, AIG 10, okay, Taigen, Taigen. And then I'm like, okay, something's missing. And I don't know why, but the Z was just there. And I'm like, yo, this is perfect. I got my name. No one can go. No other person can have this same name with this same thought process. It's impossible because it's me, it's my life, and nobody has one same life and same story. So I'm like, all right, cool. And since then, I'm like, yo, my name's Taigenz. My name is Taigenz. But Taigenz, I'm like, yeah. They're like, all right, cool. And then eventually, people started calling me Taigs for short, Taigz. You know, so that now becomes, and so that's one side of it. There's actually a second layer to that name that has nothing to do with me. I'm the first of 3, so I have two younger brothers. And my youngest brother, mind you, at the time when I created Taigenz, my youngest brother was 7, 6, 7. He was a kindergarten or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So he has no idea what I'm doing. You know, I'm a teenager. He's a kid. But when he's a teenager and I'm in my early 20s, he's like, I remember he was like 14, 15, and we was chilling at home. He's like, yo, I know why you call yourself Taigenz. Mind you, this story I just told you, I never actually broke it down to him.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, I know you call yourself Taigenz. So I'm like, why? Like, I'm like, I never told him the story. He's like, because every syllable is each of our names.
Jeez.
And I'm like, what?
You didn't even realize
so T represents me. AI are the letters from my brother, the middle brother. In his name, there's AI.
Wow.
And the last syllable, GENZ, was the nickname that my youngest brother had in high school. And I didn't know that.
Wow. Wow.
So when he told me that, I was like, yo. Like years later, you know, like it's as if like this is when people say like things are just meant to be certain. I'm like, okay, then nothing or no one can ever tell me to change my name, because now it goes past me. It goes above me.
That's like Bill
It's literally
Gates'
there's a blood level to it that is forever. You know,
legit. That's like when Bill Gates' family used to have an apple orchard. And ironically, you just have the Apple iPhone. So life just has a way of really bringing in those full circle moments for you. That is a beautiful story. That is truly beautiful. And your brothers must be so proud to be a part of your journey, and you're able to like carry them with you. You know what I mean? Wherever you go musically. What really brought you into music though, and you deciding, all right, this is something I want to take seriously, I want to be involved in, I want to execute this, I want the people to hear my art, the whole nine?
What my earliest memory of just falling in love with music in a way that was not just passive, because I was always, you know, I always like music. I remember being, before into hip hop, I was big on techno and punk. Like I was, you know, I was big on, you know, the Blink-182, Good Charlotte, these guys. Like I was bumping it. Yeah, Sum 41, all that.
What do they know?
I was bumping heavy. So, and techno too, you know. So I was like, I had my little phase on that. But I remember getting into hip hop as a fan was through watching Dre and Eminem, and Forgot About Dre came out. And then I really fell in love with West Coast hip hop first. My earliest memories of hip hop was still Dre, Snoop, Eminem, just Dre and everything that they had in the West Coast. That was really my earliest memories of really just appreciating it and really understanding, you know, oh snap, okay, like this is something I like this. But getting into it really actively, not just as a passive fan, is when I remember I was 11, and this is before Young 10 even existed. I'm just writing, and I remember just waking up one Sunday morning and just taking my notebook and I just started writing. And that came from a space where I didn't know at that time what my bag was. You know, like some people know what they're good at. Some people know you're a kid, you try to find yourself. And I didn't really have any direction as to what I knew I was good at or not. I was outside of school. I was pretty good in school in terms of just studies, whatever. But you know, we're talking sports. I was always active, but I was never like the star athlete of any sport I played. But I was always around guys with high caliber. So like I have my childhood friends, some of them are now professional basketball players, for example. So around them, it was like, okay, I'm not as good as them, but I can stay on their level a bit, but I'm not going to stand out. But they're my friends, and I still want to be active. I still love playing sports and playing basketball. So basketball, soccer, I was never like the star of the show. What else? Drawing, like artistic wise, just drawing, whatever I tried a few things, try to, you know, Pokemon. I tried to create my own Pokemon and everything like that.
As we all did.
Yeah. And I think, you know what? I think just thinking about it now, I'm going back to a time when I think I showed somebody my drawing. I think it was like an auntie or something like that. Mm-hmm. And like, I just showed her, I'm like, look, do you like it? She's like, no, I don't like it. And then she started laughing. But I don't think, thinking about it now, I'm sure she wasn't like trying to, I'm sure she was speaking lightly of it. You know, she wasn't like trying to shut me down. But I took it that way. But I never spoke on it. I think this is probably the first time ever I'm speaking on this. Wow. This is just memory that just came back.
Yeah, it came to.
And then since then, I think I remember I didn't really continue after that. So it was a few things that I think I tried, but I never really got encouragement to continue, or I just didn't see that there was value in it until I started writing, because I just love hip hop in general. I started actually just writing my own lines and everything, just like what came out and everything, you know. And like next thing I know, I have full pages filled with just bars. Whether the flow was there or not, like just the fact that I knew I could rhyme words and put things together at a level where at that time, at that age, most kids aren't thinking like that.
Yeah.
And then I think I go to school one day, I have my notebook and my boy said, like, I have my boy beside me, and then I think he wants me to help him with like some notebook or some homework or something like that. And I'm like, oh, don't touch that. That's my rap book. It's like your rap book. I'm like, yeah. He opens it like, yo, what the hell? I'm like, yeah. And then like, yo, rap something. And then like I recess, start rapping a bit, and it's like, yo, you're actually. And then like I remember, and then I think the one reassurance I ever got that really like solidified it at that age was the how do you call this? I'm thinking in French. In French, we call them surveillant. The school. You know those people that come and watch the kids during recess?
Yeah, like the supervisors.
Supervisors, yeah, in French,
like those,
surveillant.
Yeah.
Yeah. The playground supervisors, whatever, like the lunch monitors. There we go.
Okay, because for me at school, it was like the teachers, maybe the ones that were like with smaller classrooms, or people's parents would volunteer.
No, at our school, there were specific people came to actually just be there for the lunch period.
Okay.
You know, like that was their job. Like they came for it. They were the lunch monitors. So every day, some of them were mad cool. You know, so we look forward to seeing a few of them. Some of them were not very cool. Yeah. And one of them was a girl who she was clearly a young woman at the time. She probably birthday at that time.
I know what she meant.
yeah. You know, and then we're like, oh, her name is Miriam. We're like, Miriam, check this out. And then what we did was we remixed Welcome to Atlanta, but our way. Welcome to Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? And then she's like, yo, you guys are good.
Yeah.
You know, and then like, I think that's all I did. And I'm like, all right, cool. I got my bag. Wow. You know, and then since then, I just silently just kept working at it. And then I'm like, okay, I got to have this. This is going to be my life forever in some way, shape, or form. And then it's when I got to high school, I'm like, okay, this is really something that like, every few years was always something that like really solidified it more and more. Where it's like I can't, if I get out of this, if I don't do anything with this talent or this lane or whatever, or this part of me, like there's always going to be there's always going to be something incomplete with me, and I don't think I'll ever forgive myself. Yeah. So this energy I've had it since then. It was just a question of executing it, and then you know you're not always in a situation where the environment can nurture your talent and growth. Definitely. You got to figure that out. And that's what I've had to deal with. It's not like people were behind me be like, all right, you know, do like that. Okay, I'm gonna set you up with this guy. And like, no, I had to figure out how to do that myself, be with the like-minded people myself. You know, I was in a rap group most of my teenage life. So that was at least a way where we can sharpen each other's skill, you know, and make some noise in the city, which we did, you know, we did at the time. So it was pretty cool.
That is beautiful, because unfortunately there are quite a few people in this earth that they never got to pursue their dreams, or even brave enough to say it out loud, or what it is, even to themselves. So, you know, we're definitely a part of a time and a generation where a lot of young people around our age group and younger are taking advantage of these emotions and not letting fear stop them for pursuing their dreams, no matter how crazy it may sound to sometimes when I try to explain to my mom, like, yeah, I have my own digital media network. Like, I don't, like, she don't even take, it doesn't register.
Compute. She's not compute. She's
she's just like, like, your bills are paid, you're good, like all right, well, I guess my daughter's doing all right, you know. So it's definitely a beautiful thing, and I'm excited to see more people just pursuing, including yourself, just flourishing and following their dreams. As a Black man, right? Mm-hmm. And just, I feel like I love to just ask you guys this question, where it's just, what is some ways that you practice self-care in your life, Taigenz? I know you said you worked out today. Mm-hmm. But what are some ways that you truly like take care of yourself, the things that help to build you as a person? Because I feel like we need to normalize the fact that it's not just women that do face masks or oil their scalp. Whatever self-care looks like for you, what is that?
To be honest, it's probably the pandemic probably made me open up to the idea of self-care much more than in the past. In the past, to be honest, the self-care was just being physical, just being active, playing ball, or just making sure I'm in an active state of mind, where like years for basically almost my whole life, I'm doing something active almost every day. Like I don't feel like I'm taking myself if there's like 2 days past when I didn't do anything active.
Legit.
Usually in the winter, you know, it was to the point where I had a I don't want to say schedule, but I was at a rhythm where okay, I'm playing ball nearly every day for 1 hour at noon, for example. In the evening, Mondays and Wednesdays, I'm swimming. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm playing in a men's league. So I have basketball games at least twice a week. Friday, there's open gym somewhere. Even though I play ball at noon, there's not open gym. I'm going to the gym to actually weight train or do something, you know.
Something.
And it was really a lot of physical. Whatever self-care was, it was associated to something physical.
Yeah.
When it comes to mental, the mental self-care I had was when I would write, when I'll be creative.
Yeah.
When I'll be creative, that was like the one thing that was really, for me, I guess I didn't see it as self-care. It was just a second nature thing, like a second to breathing, you know, like I have to write, I have to create, I have to do things, you know, if not, there's something's not going to work mentally and inside, you know. But to be honest, as of late, I've made the effort to, I've been purposeful in putting time out and I've been purposeful in making time in my days to do something to make me go, okay, I am taking care of myself right now. So maybe like, you know, I started taking bath with essential oils, for example.
Yeah.
I learned this from, well, this is something I would do a few times, you know, like a lot of things like that, like you learn from like maybe a lady friend or something like that. Like I learned from my ex, like the concept of self-care to an extent a few times. She tried to get me into it, but you know, I'm a man. I'm like, I would do it only if she wants to sometimes. And even that would be hard to get me into it. But for me to do it myself, to initiate and everything, like almost never, you know. Yeah. But it's only recently I'm like, you know what, like I started, you know, just using essential oils more often and like being purposeful with them. You know, just taking care of like my face, washing my face, like something so simple.
But it's like
skin. Thank you. Thank you. So like I never really had like acne issues or whatever. But I was like, you know what, like one thing I realized, I'm like, yo, as I'm getting older, even though I feel as in shape as I was when I was 15, 16, 17, obviously it's not the case like that. Or if I want to keep feeling that way, I have to make efforts now to maintain that. It's not like when I was 15, I could sprain my ankle and then bang, I could in 2 days. Now it's like if I sprain my ankle, I have to make sure I take it, like immediately take care of that, stay off my feet for a few days, you know, stretch and do exercises to make sure I can get a speedy recovery. And then that translates to anything else. So even if when I'm very active, I got to take time, okay, I was very active today, let me recover. That way tomorrow I don't feel crazy sore and I feel like I can't. So self-care could be, I just taking baths, washing my face. Could be one thing I started to do now. I try to develop, I'm trying to work on it every day, is literally shut off my mind for 5 minutes. I'm starting off for 5 minutes where I'm somewhere. What I'll do sometimes, I drink a lot of tea. So sometimes I'll just put water in the kettle. And while I'll use the time for the water to come to a boil, is my time to just shut everything off. And I'll just stay in the kitchen, just be by the counter and just like try and close my mind as best as possible, or close my eyes and then just not think. And I started doing that. It's becoming more and more easy. Like now, like 5 minutes feels like 2 minutes. So I extended to 7, you know, and it's like, okay, cool. And I think the only thing that I know is self-care per se that I've made the concerted effort to do, it became a habit now. And it's like since 2014, 2015, is to not use alarms to wake up. Like I haven't, I think 2014 or 2015 was the last year where I used alarms to wake up every morning. Since then, I wake up on command. I can wake up on command, or when I wake up, I have an idea of what time it is. Like I really be in tune of how I feel in the morning to really listen to my body. And you know, so I tell people, like in the last 5 years, I've used an alarm less than 100 times. In 5 years, so that's 365 times 5. So I use, you know, so that's what I suggest people do. I'm like, yo, people be like, I don't know, I can't, like, I think that's step number 1 to trusting yourself. If you want to build self-trust, self-confidence, don't use alarms. Work yourself to that point where you don't need to use an alarm. Or where, you know, if you take a nap, make sure your nap is literally timed, like you personally time it. Or what I do is I have a specific playlist that I put when it's nap time. So my body actually reacts to the music.
Wow.
I relax, I lie down, and then I'm out for a good 22 minutes. And then I wake up, all right, let's go, let's get to it. So these are little things that I've implemented in my life, and they seem to be working.
No, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with us, Taigenz. I know Taigenz, sorry, Taigenz. I know that I'm so horrible with names, but please know that I have a genuine heart. There's no shade, no tea. So your newest record, Foolish Money, I love the record, love the messaging. Actually, all your songs, I was going through like just your projects in the past and music singles that you drop, because I love to just try to get in the mind of who I'd be speaking with, especially if they have music. And you just seem like there's a part of you that you just want people, I won't say like woke, because you're not like shoving a message down necessarily, but in your own way, I feel like you're just letting people know it's okay to be you, embrace your culture. I'm all of this, but I'm still Terry. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah. Like I'm glad you pointed that out, because I never. One thing I tell people is that I don't want to be viewed as the woke guy or the woke rapper. Like, in a sense, like I have no problem with woke, but and that's just with anything. Like this certain box that comes with certain labels.
Exactly.
That I'm like, you know what, like, yeah, like I can think on different layers or on certain things, and depending on the song, I can go deep into certain things, and some other songs I just want to talk my shit. I want to have the freedom to. At the end of the day, I want to have the freedom to be human. Humans were all like, there's fluidity in being a human. There's fluidity in being a creative. So I want to, at the end of the day, still respect my creative integrity. So if one day I feel like just talking random and just talking out my ass and just like not making sense, I want that to be as evenly valued as when I go into like something deep and like there's a core message. And then, because at the end of the day, I'm still just trying to create and put things together. Foolish Money was my attempt at combining all of that. It was like, okay, let me see, because there's a lot going on in that song. I won't lie, there is a lot going on.
There is, but it wakes you up.
Or production wise or whatever, there's a lot going on. But it was my attempt to execute something where this is the perfect, or not the perfect, but the closest thing you get if you're inside my head in one given moment. All of that can happen inside my head and still somehow make sense.
Wow.
Still somehow makes sense. So, for example, like in Foolish Money, the chorus, I'm saying foolish, like that's literally like, I'm taking it back to how your auntie or your mama, like in the village in Cameroon, would be mad at you. They'll call you foolish. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll just be like, why are you acting foolish? Foolish child. Like just like that. So I'm just bringing that in. The first bar of verse 2, I say chop small, chop long time. That's literally that's pigeon right there. Chop small, chop long time. And that's a quote that I saw on my grandma's kitchen in the village when I was in Cameroon in 2016. Wow. That's like, you don't get that from I have to be somewhere to get that. And when I saw that, I'm like, yo, that is a dope. I just saw it and I'm like, that is a dope message. And it was ingrained since then. And I'm like, I have to employ that somewhere. And I take that as just like chop small, chop long time. Like, don't be greedy, like small steps, but there's longevity in the small steps. So that's the deeper layer, if you want, to it. But at the end of the day, I was still trying to have fun. I had to Spanish into it. I taught myself Spanish in 2018, just for the fun of it. I really love Spanish and the culture around Spanish, especially the Latino and Latin American culture. Like I have a genuine appreciation for it. So it's like, let me just incorporate that in my way, and just have fun with it. So that's all of that was all of that energy was put into that song. And I'm just happy that people were still able to enjoy it and have fun with it. Yeah. That's really, because it's very fast paced. It's very like, it could wake you up like 6 a.m. You play that, it's like bang, like it doesn't give you time to like, no, wake up, like run that, run that, run that. Like, if you're running, like I want people to like run that, like, so definitely. That's really that was the main energy behind it.
No, it's a beautiful, beautiful work of art. And I love that explanation. So it makes me appreciate it even more. When it comes to just, moving forward in your career and growing as an artist, where do you see your music and your artistry going, or where are you trying to take it? I find a lot of people not everyone's trying to be a Grammy Award winner, but not everyone's trying to be indie. Not everyone, there's different places and pockets when it comes to this music industry. It is so huge. Where do you see yourself? Where are you trying to grow to? What is the vision you have going on?
So the vision I have, and I had to look at myself in the mirror and accept it, and really go all the way, is like, listen, I tell them, like, I'm going for the world. I'm going for the world. I can't shy away from that energy. I don't want to downplay myself or whatever. Like, no, when I say I'm going for the world, I mean, like, event in the long term, what I bring to the table is going to touch in some way, shape, or form the different corners of the world, because I'm just so, like, I can't limit myself regionally to my city alone. I can't limit myself to my culture alone, where I'm from. Like, all of that is has its place, but all of that needs to be put together into something even bigger, especially in everything I learned in between those two extremes. So it's like, I'm doing myself a disservice if I'm just saying, I just want to get to, man, I just want to make sure I'm nationally big. Like, no, I want to surpass that. I'm really want to surpass that. The idea of, like, aiming for the stars, you land on the moon. Like, if I don't touch every continent, then if I don't touch all, I don't know how many, let's say, I don't know if there's 5, 6 at this point, or 7 continents, whatever in the world. Yeah. There's going to be 3 that are going to be hit heavy, minimum.
Yeah.
No,
and then, definitely, yeah.
And then it's a compound thing for afterwards. It's a big, that's the energy I have, and it's going to take me to where it's going to take me. But that's the energy I have, and that's allowing me to keep my mind open and keep my energy and creative spirit open to whatever can come my way.
Oh, it's definitely limitless. Like, sometimes, well, I'm always checking analytics, but sometimes, when I look at, like, the podcast and I'm seeing, like, some of the countries that are on there, I'm like, niggas listen to me in Belgium? Niggas listen to me, like, it's, and I'm not talking no 2%, no 3, like, Germany, like, it's limitless. And when you're truly creating art, I feel like that's how it should be. Like, while maybe sometimes you may have someone in mind, like, for me, it's more of just, like, I don't even know who you are out there, who like, but thank you. I'm happy this touches you and speaks to you, because that's what music is. That's what art is.
Exactly.
You don't know who it's going to impact, what emotions it's going to evoke from people. I mean, there's been random times where I've seen some work of art or installations where I didn't even expect to feel what I felt. And then all of a sudden you're, like, in tears and you're like, whoa. Like,
exactly.
Art does that.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Like, like, I feel you on that. I remember in 2019, 2020, like, and this is what, like, kind of confirmed that energy, that mentality that I have, is when I have a song that came on 2017 called Satisfied, and it landed on iTunes hip hop charts in Turkey in 2019. Like, Turkey, I'm like, I just get a notification, your song's been entered number 45, top 200 iTunes charts in hip hop in Turkey. I'm like, what? and it was backed up, because then at this point, I remember at one point I was getting consistent DMs from people in Turkey.
And you were like, what is going on?
And they're like, yo, man, we love you, man. We love you. Listen, let me tell you, man, you got to come to Turkey. We got you. Come to Turkey. We got you. If it's not Turkey, it's Brazil. Yeah. If it's not Brazil, it's Spain. Yeah. So it's like, okay, like, in the grand scheme of things, I'm still at a lower scale, but there's already pockets of people that it's reaching. So why should I even limit myself now at this point? Like, now, if it scales up, those same pockets of people are going to be like, yo, I was there.
Exactly.
I was there. There's one kid, there's a kid right now, there's a piece of merch, or a t-shirt of mine is sitting in a kid's drawer in Turkey right now. Yeah. And he's the only one in the country that has it. Wow. And he's like, yo, like, he's like, thank you, man. He's like, yo, he's like, listen, he's like, thank you. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. And I'm like, yo, like, wow. You know, it's things like that. It's really an exchange, and it's like you see that, and that would have never happened if I didn't do anything. You know, if that would have never happened. You know, that would never happen.
You would have never. Yeah. Yeah.
So
No, beautiful. That is beautiful. Those are the moments that I feel really help to keep you motivated and just to keep you going, you know, because it gets very it gets very trying, especially
it
when you
does.
really get into this industry and you see how much money it involves. You see how much dedication, commitment, you see how not genuine a lot of people are. So
Mhm.
it's very important to stay grounded and remind yourself why you're even doing it to begin with.
Exactly, because it's a tough road. Like I know many guys who was rapping with me back in the day, like they're not rapping
Not
anymore
doing it
because of
anymore.
X and Y reason, you know.
Mhm.
And I don't blame them because it's really tough. When you brought up interest, you brought up a very important point. Money, it can be very scary and daunting. Like it's the people tell you all the time, like, yeah, you gotta have, you know, there's a budget for everything in this game, and you can't let that scare you, and you gotta just find ways to get it and get it done. You know, so
Exactly.
it's scary, and there's pitfalls along the way, but that's what everything. But at the same time, that's what makes the result, and that's what makes the result and the journey that much sweeter. Because when you're able to get across those pitfalls and you're able to get over those obstacles, like wow, like it's really a personal journey at the end of the day because
It
you
is.
learn a lot about yourself.
It is. It is. So another staple question that we do ask here at Downtown, Don't Waste No Time with Negativity, is you have the four, well, now I'm going to say the 5 elements. Shout out to Alex Marley. He totally blew my mind with that one in our interview. And I was like, I definitely want to keep that. So we're going to say you have the 5 elements. You have earth, air, water. Hold on. Earth, air, water, fire, and spirit was the 5th one he said that I never thought about. So which element do you resonate with the most and why?
Now you add spirit, it adds a twist to it. I'm not gonna lie.
Right? It blew my mind. I'm like, I got permission. All right, cool.
I don't know if this is related to all I'm not the biggest zodiac guy, but I don't know. I'm a Sag, so I don't know if the fire sign part of it is a factor, but I do feel like I fire feels like it resonates a lot with me. Because it's I don't know, it's like fire is very powerful in a sense. You could have a slow burn and then all of a sudden everything just, you know,
turns up,
blows up. But and it could be it could be controlled if you know how to control the flame. You know where how to maneuver it. You know, you could do a lot. You could do damage with it. In this case, like positive damage. You could do a lot. People see it. People see the flames. People can be like, wow, it could be a beautiful sight. So I guess out of that, I'll say fire. But I guess I would have to equally add spirit, because in the flame is probably my spirit in the flame. You know, and without the spirit, then the flame might not be as high, it might be as strong, it might be as it might not be as hot, you know. So I think those two for me go together. And I'm just now doing I'm now trying to allow myself to let that fire really grow and let it be shown without apologies or whatever, you know, without if people are scared of it, good. If you're not, good, you know, like this is the flame you're working with. And I think I've spent a lot of my life containing that for self-preservation, or I don't know, for being conflict averse or whatever. When I was a kid, I didn't really like conflict. I didn't want to I don't want to have issues with anybody or anything like that. But now it's like I not that I welcome it, but I understood this. My philosophy on life, I think I have 2 philosophies. Number 1 is life ain't free, as you see here. Number 2 is that the point of life is to have for me to have a successful life. No, I'm gonna go one sentence. I'm trying to have as many good problems as possible, because life is full of problems. We're never going to escape problems. But the issue is that the quality of problems is what affects our quality of life. If I can have a good problem, it means that I'm advancing. because you advance then you to another problem where it's like, okay, wow, this is a good this like 4 years ago I couldn't imagine. 4 years ago it was like I'm just trying to get people in my city to listen to me. But now it's like, okay, how do I market? Do I market to Spain or do I market to Brazil? Like that's a good problem.
Yeah.
Because there's been stats that tell me you got people there checking for you, So I'm trying. So I guess with the elements, it's like fire is like I'm trying to let my fire be like the greatest problem ever. Like how are we gonna how are we gonna contain this fire if I'm not the one to contain it?
Exactly. And, here downtown, another phrase that we always say is eat fruit, mind your business. Fruit is great for the skin, it's great for all the things. And it's also knowledge, wisdom, spirituality. And I know we've spoken before and speak on how important fruit is to you. Because I remember we had that conversation.
Yes, we did.
It was a part of your life. And I was shocked at how much it is a part of your life. So speak on like your love for fruit and just kind of where that.
Fruit is dope. I told you last time I try to have a fruit bowl every day, if not every other day. Like I had one today, and I ate, and I literally thought of that, like eat your fruit, mind your business. She got me. She got me. Like this is stuff for life. But it's very important because obviously for nutritional purposes, obviously. But it seems like fruit and humans, or depending on the fruit, there's a crazy relationship with fruit and just the history, fruits and the history of humanity and spirituality and everything. Like you said, like I think I learned somewhere that apparently, if one just talk scientifically speaking, or the scientific part and the spirituality part, the apple represents a lot. The apple represents a lot in terms of spirituality. But apparently, like humans, if we want to go the scientific route, thousands or 10,000 years ago, whatever, when we was in the bushes or whatever, before civilization was a thing, we're just moving around as hunter-gatherers, like we had our eyes developed to see fruit because they were colorful.
Wow.
Because we needed that for nutrients. So over time, your eyes developed to, okay, raspberries are red, strawberries are red, bananas are yellow. If they're ripe, they're yellow. Orange is orange, obviously. Red apples, green apples, etc., etc. And the only other animal that has acute vision like us to see fruits, I believe, are eagles. If it's not, so like eagles are flying, so they can see. I could get my data on, so anybody watching this, please double check. But
that sounds interesting.
And the thing is, we had to see fruit and we had to see snakes. Our eyes were to see fruits and to see snakes. And it's interesting how fruit, snakes, and spiritual, you know what I'm saying? It's interesting because, at the time, snakes were, I think we were just at the time when we were probably at the top of the food chain. So we were a big prey for snakes. And, they're hiding in the bush and everything. So we have to make sure, okay, something's moving. Yeah. And snakes can be very colorful, so we can spot them. And it'll be, okay, there's a snake there, climbing the tree, hiding the tree, whatever, the snake won't catch you if you're in the tree. Little things like that. So I think of these things, I'm like, yo, this is crazy. So I try to, try to eat my daily fruit bowls and know that there's, at the end of the day, that's you can't be wrong with eating fruits. Can't go wrong with eating fruits at all. So.
You can't. You really can. Yeah. And thank you for sharing that because it's very important, guys. Let's try to get it into our life like as much as possible. I'm not here saying I'm a vegan. I'm not, you never see me capping. Okay. But what I do say is eat some of it, drink some water. God damn it.
Yeah.
On a daily, like we need to get ourselves truly together. I love to watch random things. I think you kind of learned that the last time we spoke, but there's literally like people in the world where are you familiar with the term sommelier?
The term?
Sommelier?
Sommelier?
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the wine. I'm thinking of people who
make wine. So you have, I was in a little bit of a sommelier like wormhole. Then I discovered that they actually have water sommeliers as well. And I was like, You see what I'm saying? That was my reaction because I was like, wow. But when you think about it, not all water is the same. Not
Very
all
true.
water does the same things for you.
Very true. Very
And
true.
literally, not all water is actual water. It's like pop water that we're drinking, thinking it gets really deep. If you're watching or taking,
Listen.
you're welcome to looking into this.
I have my theory. I have my theory on water. When you say water, I think, like, for example, this is. I think I told you last time I'm a part-time conspiracy theorist.
Yes.
And I don't know if I shared this with you or not at the time, but I'm gonna say it now. For example, the Queen of England, she's not, the water she's drinking is not the water we're drinking. Like that is a fact. Whatever water she's drinking, the molecules and everything, like there's a
it's
science.
Different. It's different. It's different. And that's why watching this, I was like, yo, and they had basically a competition. It was like how many waters were submitted. And these men stay there like a whole panel, very serious, like
wow.
testing these different waters. And I'm like, yo, when you think about that, like it seems weird maybe to some people now, but people like that, they're gonna wish they knew them or thought about these things come like 2050 and beyond, because water is not going to be as accessible as it is now. You know, I definitely do agree with you where I do feel like there's a lot of privileged water out there that we don't really know about. And that's why, you know, I drink alkaline water on the regular, but little things, just being mindful of really agriculture and the things that just really will help us to sustain and survive. But I don't want to get too deep into that bag because I can, you know, but I want you to let everyone know, Taigenz, where they can support you, where they can contact you, where they can stream his music everywhere, but just let everyone know where they can find you, where they can access you, where you choose, and where they can support you and support your merch.
So number one is so Taigenz, Google Taigenz, and you go on my website taigenz.com, TAIGENZ.com, Instagram Taigenz, Twitter Taigenz, TikTok Taigenz. All my music is available everywhere and everywhere you listen to music. So, you know, Spotify's, Apple Music's, Titles, Deezer's, etc., you'll find me there. YouTube for sure. Merch is available on my website or my Instagram. If you go on my Instagram, there should be a shop tab or somewhere on my page, or my link in bio. Worst case, my link in bio will have the main info. And I'm easily accessible. I'm not hard to get to. Anybody that wants to reach out. What else? That's really it, man. That's really it. Yeah.
How can I not ask you this before I let you go, if that's okay? When it comes to having your Congolese background and being
Cameroon.
My apologies, Cameroonian
We're
background,
neighbors.
And big difference. I don't want people to chop off my head, so big difference. Okay, but when you think of that part of your background, and as well just being based in Montreal, because where I did initially remember following you and meeting you kind of is in that clubhouse room where a bunch of Montreal niggas were in there just basically like, Toronto, you don't ride for us, you don't fuck with us. So rep for your people, let us know what it is. Montreal, you here, we here, what's good? Like, so let everyone know just, you know, why you are proud to rep for Montreal and for Cameroon, and, you know, let everyone know, talk your shit.
like I'm gonna say it like this, man. Like, number one, I'm like, okay, I'm born and raised in Montreal for sure, so I'm repping the city forever. It's to the death, you know. You can't take it out of me. And it's really, Montreal is really a place where there's so much going on everywhere you go. There's so much going on everywhere you go, and it's like its own city state. Because everywhere, Montreal is the only place in our province that is Montreal. Anywhere else, you know, it's almost the same thing everywhere. But Montreal and the greater Montreal area is really what's popping. And Cameroon, like, I heard Cameroon because Cameroon is it's a very important country on the continent. Like, Cameroon is considered mini Africa because you have when it comes to ethnicities, there's nearly 300 ethnic groups in that country alone. Wow. And Cameroon is a country that is smaller than the province of Quebec. Wow. So there's a lot going on. There's almost as amount, there's just under 300 ethnic groups, under 300 different dialects. And you have, and depending on where you are, people look slightly different. You know, there's almost in every corner of the country, you'll find a mini representation of how somebody looks in the rest of the continent. So it's very interesting. So, and Cameroon is it's at the side, it's on the part of the continent where it was like at one point just like a merchant's playground where, you know, it's by the ocean, there's crossroads and everything. So there's a lot of trade happening. So Cameroon is a very important country in the continent. So I'm so proud to be from there too. And I tell people Cameroon is like Canada, but reverse. You know, the minority is Anglophone. I'm from the minority side, and I'm born in Canada, where the minority is Francophone, and we're from the Francophone side. So it's like there's a literal mirror effect, you know, that's happening. And I'm in the middle of all that. So I see both sides mad clearly, and I just feel very privileged to be able to go on one side easily and tell people what's happening on your side, and vice versa, you know, without missing a step. So that's really that's me in a nutshell, and that's why I do my best to rep both, because it's really important. When I went to Cameroon, I was talking from Canada. I was telling them like, yeah, I'm like guys, I'm your lost child. Like I came back and I'm telling you guys what's happening, you know, like and they really appreciate it. Yeah. You know, when I was talking to media outlets over there, and you know, when I'm coming back here, it's like, yo, I'm from Cameroon. Like I'm born here, but I don't say I'm Canadian first. I say I'm from Cameroon. I'm from Cameroon background. I just happen to be born here. But, you know, there's so much happening back home. There's so much on the artistic side that the industry is growing every day. And there's so much talent over there too. So it's a bridge at the end of the day. And to answer your prior question, as you know, I as the profile raises and I really say I'm aiming for the world, I do at one point want to be responsible for having some kind of a bridge where you have Cameroon and Montreal, Quebec, Canada, you know, and the diaspora of that's related to both sides, just like really connect. And I want to add to that. I want to add to that and just, you know, put my own energy to it. So yeah.
No, you'll definitely get that done. All faith and power to you. And you have Downtown World support. So you go for it, King.
By the way, new single is dropping in June already. I have next single dropping in June. Might as well pitch that.
Yes, go for it.
my next single is called Dream About. It's dropping in June 4th on all platforms. So be on the lookout for that. And that one and then you're gonna see how I can switch it up. Because that one, the Foolish Money was one bag, Dream About is a whole other bag. Yeah. But it's still a big bag where you still getting me into. So it's that's the joy of it. That's
you know, you talk about all those songs, but if I were to be honest with you, a song of yours that really stuck out to me is Motivate. You were saying a lot in that track. I
wrote that at 5 a.m. leaving a bar.
It does sound like a very honest version of yourself.
I wrote that. I was walking. I was in my area already, so I was probably just walking home. The sun was rising, and I had the beat, and I had the beat for a few days. I just let it marinate. I didn't really know what to do, and then like I was just starting humming. I started humming the hook. No, motivate. And I'm like, okay, and then bang, and then I just wrote that song. I was probably recovering off the night of being drunk, and then everything just came out. Everything just came out as it came, and it's like, you know, it's really. I'm glad you like that song, and that was like one of the few. I didn't release a lot last year, but that was at least you know, a song where I could even though it was short, but like you said, there was a lot that was being said, you know. So the first two lines represent me, like, get my shit together. After that, I talk my shit. Africa, stop paying. Colonizers, just the shit. Black America and reparations for the kids. Give me two of those. Maybe that's when I'm gonna quit. And like that's literally, yeah, like, you know, I'm a black guy out here, but my people are suffering back home. You know, there's things happening back home. So I'm seeing both sides. Yeah. So yeah. Thank you. I'm glad you brought that up.
I told you I was listening. I ain't capping. I truly want to say, like, thank you so much, Taigenz. I want to get her. I want to thank you so much, Taigenz, like, just for this conversation. You have a beautiful energy about you. And I know I said that the first time we spoke, but I really wanted you to know that that's what I mean. And thank you for just sharing of yourself and being free and open to who you are. And thank you for giving the people, you know, such a beautiful show on Instagram. I'm telling you, like, one day it's just gonna like that's just how it happens. And it's just going to keep growing and becoming something even more beautiful than what it is now. So shout out to you, King. Keep flourishing. You guys make sure to stream Foolish Money on all platforms. And what was the other track coming out? Dream About.
Yeah.
Come June. So watch out for that. You guys make sure to follow this King on all social media. Everything will be blasted everywhere. And today, Taigenz chose not to waste any time with negativity. We ate fruit. We minded our business. And thank you guys so much for your continuous support. You know, you can also continue to get your original merch at Shop Downtown, and that is on the website, www.downtownworld.com. Peace and love, everyone. And thank you for your time.
Peace.
About to go downtown.